welcome to Investment Trends. This program is brought to you with the compliments of ZDA and the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, ZNBC. Now, according to literature, investment promotion without real investment facilitation and aftercare services does not bring out the desired results, such as the creation of more and better jobs for the Zambian people. Now, this week's program focuses on ZDA doing what ZDA is doing in facilitating investments beyond just mere promotion of investment opportunities. In that regard, I am joined by Mrs. Martinet Sefuke, who is the Acting Manager Business Development at the ZDA. Hello. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
So many times on this program, with my, other guests I've had, I've always shared the fact that so many people, when they hear the word ZDA, the letter ZDA, and hear Zambia Development Agency, they always feel like it's an organization for international investors and not domestic or local investors. Just clear the air on that. I know that, this is something that you do in your department.
Yes. Thank you very much for that question. And it's a question that we come across in many forums that we hold in Zambia. The mandate for the Zambia Development Agency is to facilitate investment in general. So it is both foreign investment and local investment. The ZDA itself, when you look at the way it is structured, we actually have 3 core divisions. That's investments. Then we also have the export promotion, and also we have the SMEs. So when you look at the way that structure is, when you look at exports and SMEs, you realize that it's really focusing on Zambian entrepreneurs. But the investment division as well looks at local investment. I think the perception of ZDA being focusing on foreign mainly comes out of the fact that when a foreign investor comes into Zambia, for example, they're new. They don't know the environment. They don't know where to get what or where to go to get certain permits or authorities. So they know that ZDA is the IPA, or it's the institution that they can go to that will assist them in acquiring certain things that they would want to do before they can set up. Mm-hmm. So it's easier for foreign investors to use ZDA. But for local entrepreneurs, they know their way around. They know where to go for certain permits. So they don't sometimes feel the need to come to ZDA. But ZDA is much more than just knowing where to go to get certain permits. We assist in a lot of other ways, and the role that the business development plays also is to sort of be an advocate for the Zambian businesses in Zambia. Mm-hmm. So ZDA can be used for a lot more other things than just assisting with getting certain permits and authorities.
All right. So what are you doing to take investments to, other provinces other than Lusaka? Yeah. Because Lusaka is not Zambia.
That's right. Absolutely right. Recently, I think sometime last year, there was a program that allowed provincial ministers to, I think, travel to China, and where they looked at the way maybe China is organized and things like that. So on their return, some of the things that is going to happen is that the provincial ministers are going to host what we're going to be calling provincial symposiums, where Zambia Development Agency is going to hold business forums in these locations, in all the provinces. So already we have had 1 symposium in Eastern Province, which was very successful. ZDA was able to meet the business community in Eastern Province, so that was a very successful symposium. Next, we'll be having one in Luapula, during the Luapula Expo sometime in July. So that would be another opportunity for ZDA to meet the business community in Luapula, to also ZDA will also be identifying investment opportunities in these locations. because what happens is once we have identified certain opportunities in the provinces, we'll be able to package them, and those projects will be promoted when we are carrying out our investment promotion activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about reinvesting. Those who want to plow back money, in their businesses to grow their businesses, local investors as well as, international investors. What incentives do you have for these?
Okay. Currently, under the ZDA Act, we do not have specific incentives for those that are reinvesting. The incentives or some of the tax benefits that are there are for startups, to assist businesses starting up their business. But for those that are reinvesting, we are currently coming up with we've made proposals already, actually, that may be included in the ZDA bill, where we want to sort of give incentives to those companies or those investors that are reinvesting, because they might as well, once they make their profits, they might as well send them back to their countries. But we want to encourage those investors, especially foreign investors, to reinvest in their business, to keep the money in the country. So we have made some proposals in the ZDA bill, which is yet to go to Parliament. So we are hoping some of those things may be incorporated in the bill.
All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, because there's been so much concern as to people or companies coming to Zambia, making monies and not even leaving a building.
Absolutely.
Nothing, no
Absolutely.
investment.
Yes.
So those are some of the concerns. But tell us more about your department. You're providing aftercare to the investors after they've started out and they're working. And of course, there might be some shocks that they may encounter. Just elaborate more on what exactly you do in carrying them hand by hand.
Okay. All right. So on the one hand, the ZDA promotes investments. It goes out there and markets the opportunities that exist in Zambia. And then on the other hand, you have to provide services where you are going to take care of those investors when they come in. Because when an investor comes in, or even the local investors, you want them to be able to get certain permits when it's needed. You see, so ZDA acts as an in-between the business and government, the government proper, the ministries, so that we can ease business for people that are investing. We don't want them to be bogged down by certain permits taking so long, or processes taking so long. So the role of our department or our division is to ensure that the flow of business is smooth. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You're watching Investment Trends. If you're just joining us, welcome to the program. I am speaking to Mrs. Martinette Sefuke, who's the acting manager, business development at the Zambia Development Agency. Now, she was talking about how they help investors sort of settle down and ease their way through the process. And we managed to speak to one investor who ZDA has helped through the process and has stabilized and is able to operate fully. Let's have a listen to what he said.
Zambia as a whole is a very good country in as far as business is concerned. On top of that, Zambia is the best location for investment at the moment in surrounding this in the place where it is now, in the region where it is. I think and I'm sure Zambia would be the best attraction investment place to be in. We are very happy. We don't regret being in Zambia. We are pushing on with our investment despite the hurdles and the hardship which everybody is going through, but still Zambia can do a lot better than any other place around the region. We've had always fruitful discussion with all the departments in the government When it comes to ZDA, yes, ZDA are a good facilitators to investors. They would do everything possible to see that the investment pledged is achieved in the best possible way. And that's what Lamasat has been getting from ZDA. So we really appreciate their help. We hope that they will keep on the same spirit. Ourselves, we will also assure them that the investments will carry on, and we will also do everything possible within our capacity to see that investments are achieved in a good way. I assure whoever wanted to come, and I do get people also myself, which I do recommend to go through ZDA. We've had instances where we refer investors to ZDA because we know that ZDA is not only for Zambians. ZDA is for the country, and ZDA are prepared to help anybody comes across to them. We felt that, and we always get a positive response from ZDA on whatever cases we at least try to find out from. Okay, the beginning was, I just came here as a visitor long time ago, and from the first day I landed into this country, I got the feeling that this is the place to be in, and that was way back in 1991. Ever since, it's been my favorite country. Not because we are interviewing now, but it's really the fact that Zambia is really the best place to have investment throughout. First of all, the government are so helpful. The people of Zambia are so humble, and they can receive you with open arms. The investment environment are really very attractive. We don't have a reason to believe otherwise. So Zambia is a good country to be in, and that's why we are in. We will keep on being in Zambia for a while to go. Our core business is manufacturing. Recently we have ventured into construction, where we do have a few big contracts going on. But the core business is manufacturing and general trading at the same time. Main clients are the mines, which normally is our big chunk of manufacturing.
All right, this is Investment Trends, and we're here talking to Mrs. Martinet Sefuke, and she's the Acting Manager Business Development at the Zambia Development Agency. We're talking about domestic investment promotion on the program today. Is just, is that just one person that you've dealt with? Tell us a little bit more about the other people you've carried through the process, and what some of their challenges have been.
Yes. Oh, well, it would be very difficult to go through all of them, but we have helped quite a number of investors, and the more recent ones would be a company called Mpande Limestone. Okay. It is a company, it's a new cement factory that is coming up in the southern part of Lusaka. So this company came into the country. We assisted them with an investment license, and we are still working with them in trying to get their immigration permits, for example, because they do come with some experts to come and implement the project. So we also assist them with facilitating their tax exemptions where they qualify. And they do come to us quite often to clarify on certain issues, ZEMA issues, immigration issues. So we work with most companies in that way, where we actually assist them with most of the issues that do come up are things like the time it takes for certain authorities or permissions to be given. For example, ZEMA has its own processes. So we have to work with the investor to make them understand that there is a process that has to take place when they are getting their environmental impact assessments and so on. So most of the issues and challenges that investors face in implementing their projects really have to do with the periods or the time it takes for certain approvals to be granted.
All right.
Other than that, the business environment investors are quite happy with. It's just those small issues that come up during their project implementation.
All right.
Yeah.
And as ZDA, what measures do you put in place to sort of ease those challenges for them? Is there sort of like a stakeholder engagement?
Okay.
Speaking to some of these entities that, of course, are your partners,
Yes.
in ensuring that investors are comfortable.
Absolutely. When you look at the mandate of ZDA, we really would not be functional without working with other government institutions, because we have several institutions that are part of the investment process. So we work with immigration, we work with Ministry of Finance, we work with ZRA, and the many other government institutions that are there. So what we are currently in the process of doing as ZDA is that we will be getting into some kind of service level agreements with the government institutions that we work with often. So we work with immigration a lot. We work with ZEMA quite a lot. We also work with WARMA. So we have a lot of government departments that we work with. So we are in the process of signing service level agreements with them, such that if an investor comes through the ZDA, they have an investment license with the ZDA, then when they go to these other institutions, those institutions will have known that ZDA had carried out its own sort of due diligence. Okay. So this is a genuine business. This is a genuine investor, because ZDA has sort of done their own background checks on them. So it is hoped that those service level agreements will make the process for the investor much faster, so that they can get over that procedural phase and get down to investing in the country.
Right. Because I was going to ask, why does ZDA have to do all this?
Yeah.
The land permits,
Yes.
you know, the other secondary licenses that are there,
Yes.
Tax issues, investor permits and whatnot. Why not allow the investor to you know, get down and dirty? But
Yes.
of course, you have explained
Yes,
that.
yes.
But I think also it cuts down on issues of corruption.
Absolutely, it does. And I think it's also international best practice that you have an organization that really is a go-between government and the private sector. You see, so in terms of you know, identifying those areas in the business environment that assists businesses in general to be able to function or to do their business in a straightforward manner. ZDA is there to do that. We provide a very transparent platform for an investor to know that once I do this, this is the next step, and this is the next step. So yes, it would obviously then cut down, or at least, you know, reduce issues maybe of corruption and things like that.
Right.
Yes.
There's also been a concern from, you know, members of the public, Martinette, that when international investors come in, they're given, you know, the 5-year tax-free kind of trading and operation in the country,
Yes.
and then you have local people who are supposed to help grow the economy, and they're not given any incentives.
Yes, yes.
What is your your view of that? What is your reaction to that?
Yeah,
sentiment?
I think also, like I stated in the beginning of the program, it is also sometimes a lack of understanding what is available to an investor. Maybe because Zambian entrepreneurs or Zambian businesses would think, okay, I mean, I know my way around, so I don't need ZDA, for example. But incentives that are granted do not discriminate between a foreign investor and a domestic investor. It doesn't discriminate. The only thing is that even within those incentives, there are various qualification levels.
Okay.
So if a local or domestic investor qualifies, they are entitled to those incentives. So it does not discriminate.
All right.
Yeah.
And is there a specific type of foreign investor, for example, who comes to the country and wants to put up something, who gets an incentive? For example, it could be somebody is in fabric
Yes.
or retail, and then you have a mining company. So do the incentives vary according to the type of investment?
Right. Incentives are granted, there are priority sectors that have been identified by government that would need or that have been given incentives. So it's not everybody. So most of those, when you look at those priority sectors, it's those sectors that actually add value to Zambian products. So if somebody is going to come into the country to trade, they will obviously not get any incentives. But if somebody comes into the country and they say that they want to process soya beans, for example, into oil, into several other things, and on top of that, I had said that you have several layers of qualification. So not only are they in manufacturing, adding value, they have to be located in an industrial park, or they have to be in a rural area, because government wants to develop the rural areas as well. And in any case, most of the agricultural products are grown in the rural areas. So we would want to be able to have those processing facilities in the rural areas. So there are priority sectors that have been identified, and only those are the ones that will qualify for incentives under the ZDA Act.
All right.
Yeah.
Martinette, thank you so much.
Thank you, Chilufia. Thank you for having me.
Coming through to the program
Thank
today.
you very much. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm sure the viewers are well informed as well on domestic investment promotion, and understanding that I think investment is for all of us. We need to make sure that we promote domestic investment as well as foreign investment, because we are Zambian and we want to see Zambia definitely go forward. This is where we end the program. Join us next week with another interesting program. This has been Investment Trends. Bye-bye.